How do I get into tech? I don't have an engineering degree. I don't have a computer science degree. I don't know how to code. How do I get in? Hi guys, so I am Crew Culture. Welcome if you're new here. I am happy to have you. And today we're going to get into how I got into a tech company with no engineering background, no computer science background, and no experience, and how most importantly you can too. Being someone that was always interested in technology but have not studying computer science, not studying an engineering degree, I abandoned that idea. I am an economics graduate, so I thought, do you know what, let me just go into banking, let me just stick to what I know. But you don't have to do that, and I ended up not doing that, so that was great. And I feel like if I could do it, you can definitely do it too. I am so happy I have done now, because it has opened my perspective so much more to what I am truly capable of. In part one of this two-part series, I will be talking about how you can tailor your application to make sure you land that interview. So let's get into it. So for most companies, you're going to have to provide two things: your CV and a cover letter. So when it comes to your CV, I mean this so much. You need to make sure you have everything under lock and key. Your SPAG needs to be making sense, like everything you do. There's a free version of Grammarly that I use to make sure that what I'm saying is grammatically correct, and I also get multiple people to read through that to ensure what I am doing, what I am trying to say, also reads well. You could be spewing stuff that makes you the ideal candidate, but if the person that's supposed to read that cannot understand, you'll fall flat, and you don't want that. So what I do is I get at least 2 to 3 people to read my CV. How does this portray? What do they get from what I've said? And then we go from there. That ensures to me that whoever's reading it is going to understand what I am trying to get across. The biggest, most important factor to my tech CV is that I had tech in there. I mean, it sounds so simple, but with someone that has no experience, it's just kind of like, how do I put tech in my CV? Like what are you talking about? But you can. For me, for example, I have done a Bloomberg's Core Markets Concepts course. Bloomberg is one of the biggest tech companies out there, and it is also very, very, very well respected. Also done a Python coding course.
Python is an interpreted, object-oriented, high-level programming language with dynamic semantics. Python's simple, easy-to-learn syntax emphasizes readability and therefore reduces the cost of program maintenance.
I mean, I'm still doing it, but the point is I took that step to do it, and I have made progression. When an employer was reading my CV, it definitely came across she has initial interest in the industry. Yet I did not have experience, but that does not matter, because I have taken steps and measures to portray my interest in technology. Anything that you can use to demonstrate you have shown interest in technology, that will put you ahead of the game, especially because I know it's not always easy to grab up an internship opportunity or work experience in a certain area, whether it's an insight day, a conference, just something. Get something on there that you can say, hey, and leverage that. What you're going to use to show genuine interest in the industry. One thing I noticed before I started working in technology, but most importantly now that I work in technology, they love numbers. They love everything quantified. So you gotta quantify everything, okay? So for example, for my CV, I would quantify how many students I tutored and quantify the percentage of amount that achieved, for example, A star to B, because that's what shows them, okay, you achieved this in this. And numbers are far easier to digest as well. And once you see like 90% of your students got an A, she knows what she's doing. I think as well, working at a tech company and having to produce work for my superiors, they cut out to the BS. So your CV, please make sure it is bullet points, clear, concise points. You don't want to do too much. I would say nothing more than 3 lines. Like my CV is very, very to the point, and it's so hard. So what I would recommend is get everything on that piece of paper and cut it down, cut it down, cut it down, cut it down, cut it down. because that will make it so much more easier for you. Because the worst thing is, you're rambling on, you may have the best experience to relate to the role you're applying for in tech, but because you've rambled on for 4 lines, they're bored, they're done, like, see ya. Getting everything down on there and making sure that you are concise and have shown brevity in your bullet points. Like, you don't want to be doing too much. I promise you, you'll only be hurting yourself. One thing I would really love to stress about getting into tech is that you need to come different. Yeah, I mean, and what I mean by that is you want to stand out, especially if you have no experience. You need to stand out, also because your competition is going to be a person that probably done a computer science degree or done a engineering degree or something to that extent. So how do you stand out? I mean, that's the question that always gets asked across all industries. I think in tech, something that definitely stood out for me and why I was a prime candidate for employers was the fact that I done other things. So for example, I co-founded and chaired the Women in Finance Society. That is the biggest gem I've got, I would say, on my CV. Now, you don't have, if you've already graduated from uni or you've moved on, or you don't feel like you want to, you know, create your own society and chair it or whatever, that is fine. I would say just find something you can show you've put your value, your passion, your drive. That was like essentially your baby, and you push that forward, because there's so much more behind it. It's like, okay, I can see this individual is very hardworking. This individual achieved X amount of goals, gained X amount of skills just from doing this single thing alone. So it really did drive up my value. Also, me being a Bright Network ambassador last year really stood out. I mean, not a lot of people were chosen for that. So just trying to even go after those kind of opportunities. I would say, because I was contacted to become an ambassador, why not reach out? I mean, the worst thing anyone can say to you is no, but getting yourself out there, grabbing those opportunities and having something to talk about on your CV is really what drives up your value and what will push your application forward. Onto your cover letter. Your cover letter, oh, I don't know what's worse, having to do a cover letter or your reasoning test. I hate doing both. You want to make sure your cover letter is no more than 300 words. No more than 300 words. I say that because imagine you're a person having to read cover letter upon cover letter upon cover letter again and again and again and again, and everyone's just got one stupidly long cover letter. You're not going to read that. You're not going to be interested. You're going to be bored after probably the first 3 to 4. So what you want to do is 300 words in your cover letter if you can. I would say nothing more than a page at absolute max. I know there's like little bits and bobs that are fiddly that I think about, so that doesn't include the company address, your name, or your like sign off. I feel like I should put that out there because I used to stress about that, but just your 3 paragraphs. Want to go in the order of why the firm, why the role, why you, and everything that you say. First paragraph of why the firm, you want to look at their values, what they're aiming to do, what projects they're on. I know for me what was most important was looking at their actual purpose and their values and how they actually back themselves on their values. So what have they done that represents integrity or excellence or innovation, and just taking that, reading what they've done about it, putting that in one sentence, and the next sentence is going to be me speaking about how I too have shown that. It's not easy, so what I recommend with your cover letter is write it all out, give yourself, I would say, maybe 2 days to be going through it and cutting out the crap. Literally cut it down, changing your sentences, even changing the structure of your sentences to make sure that everything you're trying to say and have said goes into that paragraph. Okay, when it comes to the why you, idea of getting into tech is very attractive to a lot of people, so you really need to show your unique interest in tech. You need to have that your unique theme going through your cover letter. And I say this because you need to do your research. You need to know why you're so interested in tech. Why do you want to work in a tech company? What is that going to do and aid you? How is that going to help you? Just making sure you are concise, quantify in your cover letter as well. I can't stress quantifying enough. They love numbers, they hate the crap. Cut it out, let's pull it back. Display brevity. I can't stress that enough. I don't like waffle. I mean, these are people that are always, their brains are always looking for the next thing to make XYZ easier. So you're making them their lives harder. It's just like, you're hurting. Don't hurt yourself. You don't want to do that in your application. As lame as it sounds, your cover letter is also the place where you bring yourself to life. And it's
life.
Rise up! Yes! Come on! Come on!
and it's so hard. I stressed about cover letters for the longest time, especially like trying to display why I'm interested in technology in a cover letter. It was, I couldn't, I basically couldn't, and I was so stuck. It's your time to shine through words. Take that and your interest and marry them together. And when you marry them together, it will show a unique perspective of your own through what you have written. And I feel like they can tell if you're being genuine or not. They can tell if you're genuinely interested or if you're just trying to chase a paycheck. We gotta keep the lights on, but you do not want to come across that way, because that's when you're axed off before you even get to the interview process. And that's a wrap. So I hope you enjoyed part 1, and part 2 will be all about how you are going to secure that interview. And we'll be discussing all things interview, how you can stand out, get chummy with the boss, get chummy with the hiring team, and make sure you secure that job. So make sure to tune in, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.